So, which turn off all my switches from last night. Didn't do that. All right. So looks like it's loading. Let me move this window out of the way. So I'm just gonna put my system specs on the screen here. 5800X, 16 gigabytes of RAM. And a RTX 3060 12. Hopefully folks will be able to identify with that a little bit. Most people just expect streamers to have this overpowered gear. This gear that we're running doesn't have that. As you can see, it runs things just fine. I don't have any mods or plugins installed. I did not move my community folder over. I realize that a lot of the apps have translated over, but I wanted a pure experience at first. After I get this PPL and the company going, I'll probably put some of the plugins in. But a lot of the features that are available on plugins for 2020 are actually built into the game now, which is really great. Maps even. So that's pretty nice. All right, let me see if I can adjust this picture a little bit, maybe. changing the picture ever so slightly. There we go. That looks pretty good. Although, seems still a bit dark. That's better. Okay, that looks good. So like yesterday, we're going into the career mode, and we're gonna pass a few.
You seem comfortable out there. I'm sure you will get your PPL in no time. There's a laptop in the office.
Pass a few courses.
Here you can see all the different certifications you can pass throughout. Your first step is to work towards your all the training lessons you'll need to pass the PPL exam are available.
There was an update that just ran. I think just reset that sequence. Looks like it looks like all you need to do is hop in here and do this. Alright, here we go. Flight starts on the ground. Preparing your aircraft. Taking all the necessary precautions is essential. So you'll learn how to do just that, which tools can reach. Okay. Get familiar with the outside of aircraft movement. Oh, with out of aircraft movement. Okay. Remove the covers and chocks. Get into the aircraft. Get acquainted with EFB. Start the engine. The EFB is the electronic flight bag. You get there by hitting tab, I think, is the key to use. Additional elements put on the aircraft when it's not flying is the covers. Help prevent damage and dusts and environmental factors getting into the engine. Chocks, elements placed on the front and the back of the wheels, which help prevent it from moving. Okay. So there's this cover, and this cover need to be pulled off. And chocks need to be removed. There's other points of inspection on the plane, but it doesn't look like we're going to go through that today. Like struts, wheels, elevators, rudder, aileron, and flaps.
Hello. Today we're going to go over all the steps that precede turning on your engine. Those steps are essential to ensure your aircraft's integrity and that everything is in order for a smooth and seamless flight. First of all, stretch your legs a bit and take a look at your aircraft and your surroundings. We never took much time to look at our aircraft from the outside, so take your time if you want to inspect it. You might have noticed some extra bits on your aircraft. These are the covers and chocks.
She's talking.
Covers are installed when the plane is not in use and are meant to avoid damaging its sensitive parts. Chocks are there to immobilize the aircraft. You'll need to remove them before takeoff.
Oh, I think she just wanted me to remove the chocks.
And we're done for the outside. Now that we're sure your aircraft is functional and ready to taxi, let's check the inside. Let's get to the matter at hand. You've been given an EFB, also referred to as an electronic flight bag. It's a tablet that stores critical flight information
There it is
and
over
is the
there.
ideal tool to prepare your flight plans and enhance your piloting experience. Open it and take a look. Feel free to follow a quick guided tour of its features. The EFB features an interactive map, a flight plan editor, aircraft and current flight information, a nav log, as well as fuel and payload options. The EFB has plenty to offer, but if you want to get directly into the action, you can turn it off after you finish the quick tour.
I'm assuming developers are going to develop apps to be put in here.
It seems like we're all clear on the checklist. Now start this pretty bird up.
Alright, I bound startup with Control-Alt-C, or Control-Alt-S actually. I just don't think that's going to work though.
Now that we've covered all the preparations, let's get to the
I
good
had to
stuff.
turn on the
Shall we?
actual aircraft. I had to hit the avionics and master buses, so there you go. Alright, I'm a straight A student. Alright, so we've done the pre-flight. Now let's see if we can pass the taxiing part. Taxiing is an essential skill to master before flying with your aircraft. Before taking off, planes need to follow taxiways to get from their dedicated parking spots to the runway. In this training session, you will learn to maneuver on these paths. By the end of the tutorial, you'll be able to use the rudder pedals to steer the aircraft, control the aircraft's rolling speed with the throttle and brakes, stay aligned with the center line, taxi to a holding point and stop, increase throttle to gain forward momentum, and then reduce RPM accordingly to taxi at a fast walking speed. RPM can be reduced to idle if needed to slow down the aircraft. Taxiways are a set path between the aircraft parking spaces and the airport runways. Here we go.
Let's take a moment to talk about taxiing. Taxiing refers to moving the aircraft on the ground under its own power. In particular, getting from the ramp out to the hold short point on the edge of the runway. Steering on the ground is managed through the rudder pedals.
I just turned on the engine.
That's right, unlike driving a car, we turn by using our feet. Okay, ready? With the throttle idle, release your parking brake.
So I have parking brake off on my. It's just not working on my throttle quad.
Now, gently
Throttle
increase
quadrant.
throttle to get the aircraft moving.
Alright, here we go. I'm also going to increase mixture.
Go easy on your throttle. Use your rudder pedal to turn left and enter the taxiway. Increase throttle to gain forward momentum and then reduce RPM accordingly to match a fast walking speed while taxiing. Now, test the brakes. Good. Brakes checked. Taxi to the next exit, then come to a stop. Remember to control your speed with throttle and brakes. See the crossing in front of us. Stop before it, as if traffic was coming off the runway.
that's where they want me to stop or stop before that. I'm gonna stop here.
All right, taxi to holding point Alpha 1 next. It's at the far end of the airport, near the head of runway 21. Stay as close as possible to the taxiway center, marked by the yellow line, and watch your speed.
I am going uphill.
After the right turn, come to a stop before the hold short point, in prep for takeoff.
All right.
You've mastered that lesson. The next challenge will be to keep the aircraft under control while at full throttle for takeoff.
I am not controlling this aircraft. What happened there? Alright, taxiing. Right. Well, here we are. Just got done taxiing. Now takeoff. Nothing like the thrill of taking flight. Taking off requires a pilot's full attention. All the key steps for this maneuver will be covered in this tutorial. This training session is dedicated to get you off the ground and into the skies. In this tutorial, you will taxi into position on the runway, accelerate to 65 knots before pitching up to take off, so-called rotation, maintaining 75 knots while climbing to safety at altitude of 5,500 feet, and runway numbers are not arbitrary. Each number matches the runway's orientation on a compass. Runway numbers range from 1 to 36. Runway orientated towards the north would be numbered 36, and if it is facing south, it would be 18. West would be 27, while east would be 9. The other numbers match orientations between the cardinal points to identify multiple runways facing the same way. In larger air points, the letters L, C, or R, standing for left, center, and right, respectively, are added after the runway number. Most aircraft have a takeoff level of flaps. Don't forget to check that they are properly set before taking off. In the Cessna 172, the recommended flap setting is 10%, the second notch on the flaps lever.
There's an old saying I like, a mile of road will take you a mile. A mile of runway will take you anywhere. Taking off isn't hard, but there are a few key points to remember. First, we always take off into the wind, which won't be an issue on a calm day like today. Second, before we enter a runway, we always make sure it's clear. Check to the right to see if a vehicle is on the runway, and to the left to make sure no other planes are approaching.
Oops.
Runway numbers are not arbitrary. Each number matches the first two number of the runway's compass bearing, rounded to the nearest 10 degrees. For example, a runway orientated towards the north would be numbered 36, which is 360 degrees on a compass.
Okay.
Everything looks good, no cross traffic. Go ahead and taxi into position. Now slowly taxi onto the runway and align the plane with the center line. Then stop your plane just after the number 21.
Well, here we go.
Excellent. All right, let's do this. Apply full power, and I'll walk you through the takeoff as we go. Use your rudder to stay on the center line, and keep pushing power until you reach 55 knots. Good. Now, gently pull back on the yoke. And we're airborne. Line up the top of your instrument panel so it's a couple of inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. Maintain 75 knots, and we'll reach our target altitude of 5,500 feet in no time. Focus on flying straight. Use your rudders to remove the left yaw our plane has when climbing. You can see your current yaw input by looking at the MFD slip skid indicator. Okay, 5,500 feet. You've reached your target altitude. That was a nice takeoff.
Yay. '83, yeah. Oh, I don't know about that. What did I do wrong, I wonder? Alright, yoke management. In this landing tutorial, you will focus on using the yoke. There will be no need to activate your throttle or flaps on this one. To perform a proper landing, your aircraft speed and rate of descent are reduced to allow for a gentle touchdown. In this tutorial, you will learn to manage your speed and glide path on the final approach. For a landing flare and touchdown smoothly, apply the brakes after landing to end the flight safely. Remember to land by touching down with the rear wheels first. Maintaining the brakes pressed on for too long might lead to overheating, which could greatly reduce their efficiency. Try optimizing your braking by progressively pressing and then releasing the brakes until you stop the aircraft. or to reach your desired taxiing speed. Landing flare. This is what I'm not good at. Lifting the plane's nose in order to slow the descent rate before landing, allowing for a smoother touchdown. Overdoing this maneuver can lead to what we refer to as ballooning, which is what I normally do. Altitude increases while the aircraft's speed decreases. No bueno. Oh.
For this
Rich.
landing exercise, I want you to focus
Trim
on the
lower.
yoke only. We're close enough to the runway to land safely without adding any throttle.
Oh.
Maintain a speed of around 65 knots. Pitch down if you're going too slow. Pitch up if you're too fast. Keep your airspeed at 65 knots. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. To flare means to raise the nose of the aircraft to slow your descent for a softer landing, but without ever leveling off or climbing. The main landing gear will touch down before the nose wheel does.
So I'm aiming for a spot in front of the runway. I'll level out just as I get there. And hopefully, see the apron just past the yellow chevrons? Now I'm just gonna level out.
We're coming up on flare height. Resist the temptation to pull back. Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it.
Too late, lady.
Nice. Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Use rudder pedals to stay on the center line. Well done, but there's room for improvement. Keep in mind that approaching the runway at the right speed is key to a good landing.
B. Flare the aircraft. Follow the glide slope. Yeah, I didn't do too well with that. Flare the aircraft. I thought I did okay. I guess I can try it again later.
In the first part of this landing exercise, I want you to stay on the glide path by using the throttle. You can make small corrections with the yoke to stay aligned with the runway. Smooth action on the throttle is key for remaining on the correct glide path. If you find yourself too high, reduce your power. If you're too low, increase it. Remember though, always make soft corrections. You don't want to overcompensate. Now you can use the elevator to land.
Okay. Not on the glide slope very well. I'm gonna really overshoot this.
Reduce throttle to idle. Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it. Nice. Now, apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop.
get a C for that one.
That was excellent.
Oh, it was excellent. What? Okay. I got an A. I don't understand the scoring system. That was terrible. Alright. Let's see. Landing. Combine throttle and yoke to land safely. Sort of did that earlier. Focus up must come down. In this training session, we'll focus on the key techniques for successful landings. Manage speed and glide path on the final approach. Flare the aircraft to touch down smoothly. Brake after landing to end the flight safely. Time to show what you've learned in the previous landing tutorials. You will have performed the final approach on your own. Use throttle and yoke as needed. Remember that while maintaining the same attitude, reducing the throttle will lower your altitude. To avoid overheating your brakes, try to actuate them by progressively pressing them and releasing until you come to a stop or reach your desired taxiing speed. Here we go.
My first instructor used to say, the best part of flying is landing in one piece. Today, you're in charge of bringing us in for a safe landing. And I've already set us up in landing configuration at 65 knots with 20 degrees of flaps. Keep your aim point on the runway threshold. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare.
Oh, no glide slope. I cannot read that glide slope indicator. I am losing altitude, I know that. Really all I'm doing here is controlling the throttle. I'm barely touching the yoke. I feel like I need to drop my speed a little bit. A little bit more, actually. See the glide slope indicators on the left? Those 4 dots? That is great.
500.
Oh. I'm a little bit low, I think.
Reduce throttle to idle. Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it.
Oh, that was a sweet
Nice.
landing.
Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Use rudder pedals to stay on the center line.
I have to say, that might have been my best landing ever. I thought I was gonna not make it to the runway.
You did well, but you can do better.
Oh, stop it.
Keep in mind that approaching the runway at the right speed is key to a good landing.
She thought I was going too fast. think that was pretty good. Really smooth. Follow traffic pattern and prepare for a landing. Okay. This training session covers procedures to be performed while flying in a left-hand traffic pattern. From the downwind leg to base to final. Traffic patterns, also called circuits, are paths to be followed on takeoff and landing, allowing air traffic to move in and out of airports safely. Each part of the pattern is referred to as a leg. In this training, you'll learn about the downwind base and final legs, which are essential elements of the traffic pattern. Downwind refers to the section of the pattern that goes the opposite to the runway used for takeoff. Base refers to the last leg of the circuit before final. Final refers to the leg leading directly to the landing. Once established in the downwind leg, along runway 21 to 6,000 feet, start to prepare for landing by reducing your speed to 80 knots on a set of 10 degrees flaps. A good distance from the runway is gliding distance. You can judge by seeing the runway from the cockpit at about half the strut under the wing. Okay, so let me memorize this. Once established in the downwind leg along runway 21 to 6,000 feet, start to prepare for the landing by reducing your speed to 80 knots and set 10 degrees of flaps. A good distance from the runway is a gliding distance. You can judge that by seeing the runway from the cockpit at about half the strut under the wing. Okay, I know where that is. When turning to the base leg, reduce speed to 75 and 20 degrees. After turning the final 65 degrees and follow the glide slope. Use power as required to adjust the slope. Might sound obvious, but in a left-hand pattern, all your turns will be to the left. Okay, okay. So, 6,000 feet, 80 knots 10, 75 20. Final approach 65, and actually 30 might be okay for me. I don't think so though. Let's see. Alright. Alright, so
Okay,
where are we?
we're currently flying on the downwind leg at the standard traffic pattern altitude of 6,000 feet. It's a flight path parallel to the landing runway, but in the opposite direction. In downwind, you want to start preparing for landing. That means setting your speed and flaps configuration. We are passing the end of the runway, so go ahead and reduce RPM to 1700. It will help you to slow you down to 80 knots and begin your descent. The flaps provide extra lift at the expense of additional drag. This extra lift allows flying at a lower airspeed. Flaps allow for smoother and shorter landings. Go ahead and extend 10 degrees of flaps, all while maintaining current speed. We will turn to the base leg when the end of the runway is at a 45-degree angle behind us. Turn left onto the base leg.
Okay.
Try to keep our speed around 75 knots. Keep an eye on the runway as we get ready for our final turn. Turn left onto final.
I'm gonna try your way, instructor.
Make your left turn onto final.
I did that already. Sort of lining up with the runway.
keep a stabilized approach with 65 knots airspeed and prepare for landing. Use throttle and flaps as required to adjust the glide slope. Apply the brakes and stop the plane.
Yay.
That was a perfect traffic pattern execution.
So,
Well done.
sure didn't feel like it. Ah, who's this coming at me? Ah! Alright. Now let's see what we do. Okay. So this is going to be what? Time to take my first solo flight? I haven't even learned navigation? Oh, it's a complete circuit. Got it. Now it's time to show off your skills, channel your aviation know-how to complete a standard traffic pattern without any assistance from your instructor. Stay relaxed, operate your aircraft safely, and enjoy your flight. Take off and climb at 75 knots until you reach 5,400 feet. While maintaining the runway heading, turn left into the crosswind leg and climb to 6,000. While maintaining 75, once establishing the downwind leg, maintain 6,000 feet. Reduce speed to 80 knots and extend. Hold on. So climb at 75 knots, maintain 75 knots, and then reduce speed to 80 knots? Something's not quite right. I think it's. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Reduce speed to 80 knots and extend 10 degrees of flaps. Enter base leg and prepare for final, or returning to the final approach, maintain 65 knots and follow the glide slope. Use power or flaps as required to adjust the slope. Maintain glide slope and alignment. Keep speed at 65. Flare, land, and brake. Close to the runway center line. Stay relaxed. And blah blah blah. Alright.
It's time. Your first solo flight. I'll be watching from the ground, in radio contact if you need me, but something tells me you won't. Your goal is to complete Sedona's left-hand traffic pattern on your own. Remember everything we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine. Good luck. See you on the other side.
Okay. Here we go. Nearly there. A little high. I think I'm still rising. Whoa. Let's reduce our speed a little bit. Increase our flaps after we reduce. Whoa, a little bit out of control there, buddy. My speed, oh, I'm turning and burning. Look at me. Um, yeah, I'm gonna reduce my speed. 20 degrees of flaps. This landing thing. And I don't know.
Five hundred.
Came in hot on that one.
You did well, but you can do better.
Ah, no kidding.
You're on your way to becoming one hell of a pilot.
Was it a C? Come on. Oh, it's a B. Take off. What, take off is that bad? Come on. Let's see, downwind was 49%. Yeah, it went way too high. Base leg 72. Final approach 57. It all went downhill after the downwind leg. Okay, everything's A's and B's. Let's go ahead and take it. What do you think? 2,000 credits. Is there some way for me to save before I take my perform takeoffs and landings from land? Private pilots cannot fly aircraft for commercial purposes. Oh, okay. Alright, so I spent $2,000 in my career. Time to pass your private pilot's license. This is your ticket into the world of aviation. For the practical test, we need to complete a standard traffic pattern. Follow the flight plan. Apply what you learned when you're training. Fly safely and you'll get your license. 1,000 feet above ground level. As opposed to mean sea level. Each section of the pattern is referred to as a leg. 1,000 feet AGL. Special license, you'll have to start your aircraft and taxi toward the designated runway with an intermediate stop at hold short. Align the runway and take off once you reach a speed of 55 knots, indicated airspeed. Climb upwind at a speed of 75 knots until you reach the crosswind leg. Once at the crosswind leg, climb to 1,000 feet AGL above ground level while maintaining 75 knots. Turn left and maintain 1,000 feet AGL throughout the downwind leg. Do not exceed 90 knots. Once abeam, the beam. Key aviation term referring to a specific object, fix, or point being 90 degrees to the right or left of the aircraft. Once abeam the touchdown point, fly at 80 knots. Extend 10 degrees of flaps. Push nose down into descent. Turn left towards the base leg of the pattern, slowing down to 75 knots. Extend 20 degrees of flaps at the base leg, by the way. Turn towards the final approach leg, maintaining a glide slope at 65 knots. Perform a smooth landing. Standard ATC interactions are expected to be performed during your test. You will need clearance before taxi, takeoff, and landing. We haven't even done any of that. To maintain an optimal glide control over your airplane and avoid damaging it, remember not to overspeed your flaps. Full deployment under 85 knots. Not to overspeed your airframe. Always stay below 163 knots. Yes, clearly. Not to put too much stress on the aircraft. Preventable by maneuvering and landing smoothly. Speeds are stored in your EFB. Okay. Clouds. Ready. Let's see if I fail this thing. Yeah.
It's time. Your first ever check ride. Start by removing the covers and chocks, then join me inside.
Okay. Why does that lady have really freaky looking eyes? Okay. Oh wait, chocks are here. Oh, I'm so nervous. What? Okay. I'm gonna do a cheating start. Nope. Guess not. I still have
Your
to
goal is to
flip
complete
it.
a left-hand traffic pattern, respecting the flight path and all
Taxi
required
now,
speeds.
scrub.
Rely on what you have learned in your trainings and you'll be fine. Now show me the best
That's at
traffic pattern that you've
10%.
got.
Hey, I'm taxiing.
8 Whiskey 5 Traffic Cessna, November 576 Tree is taxiing to runway 17.
Just so anybody watching this knows, I did have to. Oops. I did have to turn on my master and avionics switches, and I also turned on all my lighting. Taxi nav, strobe, beacon, and then looks like I'm not switched to that. My flaps are at 10%. My mixture is at full. It wasn't at full earlier, so I had to change that as well. All of that needs to be cabin power. I don't think I need pitot heat. Okay. I also had to remove my parking brakes manually. this is manual. Cheating, yes. I'm such a noob. Look at me leaving skid marks, it's hilarious. I can't even control the plane, good lord. What's going on? Okay, there we go, better. Idle. Stop, now hold brakes to stop, stop and hold short. Announcing my takeoff.
8 Whiskey 5 traffic Cessna, November 5766 tree, taking off runway 17 left closed traffic.
Alright. Wow, the runway is like right there. Do they realize that these airplanes don't really turn that sharply? Okay, so I'm gonna turn out this way a little bit. Come on. This is full rudder, y'all. I had to hit the brakes a little bit to get there. There we go. Oh, Lee's. Alright, let's get out of here. Flaps still at 10. I'm going to move my trim up a little bit. God, I'm such a noob. Take off. Yeehaw. Raise my flaps. $75. Ideal climb speed. Cheater boxes in here. What's up with that? I remember it said don't go over 90, so I am not going over 90. I'm trying to stay at 1500.
Whiskey 5, traffic Cessna, November 5766, tree 1 miles, east 1500. Ford inbound to land, runway 17.
Let's see if I can just hit 20 degrees turn here. Flaps. And on the glide slope. There we go. Too fast. Huh. I am not gonna reach. I've been sabotaged. Huh. Yeah. I was lucky to just land. Pete's sake.
Whiskey 5, traffic Cessna, November 5766, tree is taxiing to parking.
I gotta do something about that turn radius. That's ridiculous. Yeah, here we go again with this turn radius being crazy. Seriously? Toggle parking brakes to set parking brakes. I'm not satisfied with that. I gotta get on there. Dude, what are you doing walking through my airplane? Okay, fine. I'm just gonna stop right here. Engine auto stop? What the heck is that?
Congratulations. You're on your way to become one hell of a pilot.
Okay. Look at that. It scored me that? What a ridiculous... What a ridiculous scoring system. Y'all saw that, right? The only thing I messed up on, apparently, is respect the traffic pattern path. That was it. I feel like I was sabotaged. Okay, so here's what happens when you get your PPL. Allows you to... Okay. So apparently we get some badges. We got a badge. Y'all didn't get to see that, but there was a badge there. Allows you to fly a single-engine airplane in good weather conditions and perform takeoffs and landings from land. Private pilots cannot fly aircraft for commercial purposes. Next. Yay, I can fly any of these. The Pipistrel, the Robin, JMB, Cessna.
Congratulations on passing your PPL exam. Hopefully that's the first of many steps on your career path. Your PPL allows you to fly recreationally and begin to build up your flight hours. First flight missions are a great way to increase your experience. Let's go back to headquarters and review the specializations board to learn more.
Alright, so this is going to be next.
As you can see, the career journey of a pilot can take many different paths. As I said earlier, your PPL is the first step, allowing you to fly recreationally and perform first flight missions, taking people on tours around the local area. As you build up your flight hours and earn more certifications, other specializations will become available. Take a look around. Then when you're ready, head to the missions list to see what's available.
Alright. High performance endorsement. Tailwheel endorsement. Tailwheel. Yeah. I need to get to level 3. Commercial pilot license. Rotorcraft. So let's see. What's the... Okay, here's missions.
On this map, you can see all the missions currently available to you. There's one mission currently available. Select it now.
Okay, fine. I'll buy it. I'll buy it. With Jennifer. Alright, how much does it pay? Yeah, but how much does it pay? Alright, I'll accept it. See how much it pays. $20,000 XP. Okay. It's pretty straightforward. We're gonna go to BFR. I'm not sure what I'm looking at. ETA 352. Don't see, like, there's 9 miles, 6 miles, 1 mile, 1 mile. 175 knots. What is this? There's no question mark, no help, anything. Cruise altitude 59.56 feet. 5,956. Flight level 59.56. Okay. Got it. So 6,000 feet basically. Okay. Suppose 6,000 feet, that pattern, and then land. Jennifer's not here.
David, I'm ready.
Okay, on their way.
Just gonna leave everything the way it is.
Time to make someone's day, right, pilot? Today, you're flying with one of our friends, Jennifer, over our very own region. She's got her husband with her. If your passengers look comfortable, you are good to depart. Captain, it's up to you.
Eight Whiskey 5 traffic Cessna, November 42809er, is taxiing to runway tree 5.
Hi. Thanks for taking us aboard. I'm Jennifer. I'm thrilled to fly over Port Orchard with you. This is where we got married, you know? Will be nice to remember this special day.
Hey there, my name's Michael. I'm Jennifer's husband. Thanks for taking me up today.
Okay. Cool. mixture. Turn it for reals, turn it. They really gotta fix this turn radius thing. I'm at full turn radius right now. And I'm having to hit the brakes to turn sharper. I had to hit the brakes there to turn sharper. Alright, here we go.
Whiskey 5, traffic Cessna, November, 42809er, taking off runway tree 5 south departure.
Again with the brakes, I gotta hit the brakes to turn. Alright, here we go.
What a rush.
It's altitude infringement. That's where my boxes are.
Jennifer, even better than you thought, right?
David, it's awesome. Can't believe I'm actually doing this. And it's great to fly with our pilot.
I'm happy for you. I'll let you two enjoy the moment.
It's like the landscape is telling you its story up here. I feel very lucky to see that.
Turbulence. Wow.
It must be incredibly romantic to view our beloved region at sunset. Definitely need to book that together, honey.
How romantic together, honey. Haha. Woo. I will say the graphics do look nice on this. Just a tad bit high though.
We'll share the pics on our socials. It's gonna blow some minds.
I think it's gonna climb me up to 6,000 feet.
The sky is out of this world. We're lucky to see this. You don't really feel dizzy from up here. David told me that before we get on board, and I was a bit skeptical, but it's true.
I'm going to reduce throttle a little bit.
Relax, Jennifer. You're gripping the seat so hard you're going to break your hand. You okay? Not scared?
I'm too excited to be scared. People are looking up at us. Hey! Hey! Now the streets. Never expected to see all this.
It's great seeing the world from this angle.
Why are you bringing me all the way up here? And then telling me to get to 1,100
I would have
feet.
loved to see more details. Can you get any lower?
Yeah, I can get lower. Absolutely, I can.
Ah, we're still too high up. I can't see a thing at this altitude.
Don't you worry. We're gonna get there.
Not like you're my chauffeur, but we're going too fast for me to take it all in.
Yeah.
What's that weird jolt? Are we going down? Ah, we're still too high up. I can't see a thing at this altitude.
There's Port Orchard. Why did it bring me this high up? Just to bring me down again.
It's hard to enjoy the scenery at this speed. Not like you're my chauffeur, but we're going too fast for me to take it all in.
Well, I'm trying to get down to 1,100 feet. I almost spun right there. I could feel that.
It's hard to enjoy the scenery at this speed.
I think the game has sabotaged me.
It's hard to enjoy the scenery at this speed.
There's not a lot I can do right now about that.
Not like you're my chauffeur, but we're going too fast for me to take it all in.
Don't you worry. Coming down from 5,000, 6,000 feet. Good gracious. Side
Not like you're my
slip.
chauffeur, but we're going too fast for me to take it all in.
Yeah, we're about to not be going so fast.
It's hard to enjoy the scenery at this speed. It's hard to enjoy the scenery at this speed. That's my place. If I were home, I
Welcome
could
back,
wait till
aviators. Are you okay,
That's a
Jennifer?
bummer. I
Ready
think
to
I
give it a
totally
go
missed
again?
it.
Everything wasn't perfect, but I had a good time. Thanks. Maybe it's a little sentimental, but I'll keep this moment close to my heart always.
Alright. Now, let's see if we can trim this out. I'm at 21% flaps, that's a little bit excessive. I think I'm going the right way, I think. I'm following the arrow. What? Am I going the wrong way? Okay, I think I am going the wrong way. What am I looking at here? Course, autopilot, nav. Feels like I'm going the wrong way. Where am I supposed to go? A, W, 8W5, right? Going to 8W5. Yep. I'm going the wrong way. Ah. 16.2. 16.3, yep. Going the wrong way. Alright, let's turn this boat around. Course is set at 318, but when I set the nav, it doesn't compute for some reason. Okay, so the other pilot's correcting. Yes. Is it? Is it? Yes, it is. That's gonna put us on course. Oh, it is. Look at that. All right. There we go. Okay, so first mission, you're gonna be going to circle around some place where these folks got married and they can see their old house. Don't go to 6,000 feet. I'm not sure why the cheater boxes tell you to go up there, but don't do it. In fact, you might want to turn the cheater boxes off. You need to stay at 1,100 feet, and then you can circle around the city that they want you to circle around. But then, you got to come right back, and you got to know where you're going. They don't go over any of this in the missions training, so we're gonna up our airspeed. And hopefully make it back fairly soon. Low fuel. Low fuel left. Let's see what my fuel. Oh, look at that. Glad I caught that too. You gotta set all your stuff as well. I didn't set any of this. Now I know. We're still 12 miles out. How do you speed up time in this thing? This thing on its own is changing my let's go to altitude. Let's change the altitude. It looks like there's our cheater bars. Let's see if we can get our altitude down a little bit. Turn autopilot off and just head that direction. Bring my throttle down to 75. Cheater boxes. So I might turn these cheater boxes off because it's kind of messed me up a little bit. What's my throttle at right now? 75-ish. Yep, so I'm going to swing out here until I'm about 90, then I'll swing into the cheater boxes. Just going to drop my altitude until I can get comfortable with hitting those cheater boxes without straining. I was looking for a pattern, but I don't see a... Okay. Can't even clear that. Okay, fine. I'm gonna turn. Oh no, I'm not ready yet. Almost though. Reduce my throttle. What am I at? 120? Oh lord, 124. Looks like my navigator up here is bad too, so let's do that. Let's do clear. There we go. Final. Bring that throttle way down. Trim up a little bit. There we go. When I hit about 85, I'll hit my first set of flaps. I'm at idle now, so just trying to lose altitude responsibly here. Trim up a little bit more. Alright. Inch up to the top of this box and see if I can bring it down. about 85. So now my airspeed is going to start dropping. Brought my throttle up a little bit. I'm going to bring my trim down a little bit. Throttle's still low. Once I hit about 75, I'm going to hit my second degree of flaps here. Wow. Alright, I'm lined up. See, this is not letting me do the final announcement either.
500.
I'm just gonna hit my second degree of flaps right now. I'm at complete idle right now. Alright, I'm gonna wing it. There we go. I'm gonna land, kind of aim for early in the runway. This is a fairly short runway, so I'm just gonna flare early. And I ballooned. Crap. Wow, that was a fast landing.
Oh,
Ooh.
that gave me some serious chills.
Wow. That was an interesting landing. I'm gonna swing out, and then I'll swing back. Again, this simulator's turn radius for some reason. Maybe it's my pedals. I don't know why though. I've got Thrustmaster pedals. But you have to hit the brakes to turn at a reasonable turn radius, I suppose. There we go, holding short. Now it's allowing me to
8 Whiskey
announce.
5 traffic Cessna November. 42809er is taxiing to parking.
Here we go. So I picked an out-of-the-way airport, and while it's probably not making my life easier, I think that's good for me though if I'm going to become a pilot. It gives me a little bit of a more difficult, shorter runway to deal with. And I think I'm just going to park right in here. Once I park, I'll call it a day. I'm going to go through the menus though to see what's available to me now, or how much I get paid or whatever. I'm curious. You can see the skid marks I left before. That's interesting. They're leaving the skid marks in place. So when I hit the brakes to turn sharper, it leaves a skid on the ground. I would not expect that to be here on 2020. I would think they would erase it. See, it leaves a skid mark. Alright, reduce the idle here. So I'm just going to roll downhill, frankly. See how it leaves skid marks? This guy's going to run right into my propeller, aren't you, buddy?
I believe you've got what it takes to bounce back and make it right. I'm sure our guests had a thrill over their home region anyway.
Okay, to stop the engine in a Cessna 172, you pull down the throttle to idle, and then you pull down the mixture, and it will stop. Yeah, so I got sabotage on this. Look at that, sightseeing quality 23%. So the cheater boxes brought me up to 6,000 feet. If I redo this, no skip bonus. Okay, so I got a bonus for not skipping past stuff. If I went straight to sightseeing, it would have brought me down to 1,100 feet probably. There was an option to do that, and that's the sightseeing altitude. I was at 4,000 feet where the cheater boxes set me. Or maybe it was close to 6,000. But in any case, it was not good. So I had to lose altitude really fast and went herky-jerky with the airplane. Anyway, let's look at this, see what it says. Comply with the cruise speed, cruise altitude. So the cruise altitude was at nearly 6,000 feet, but it wasn't flight level. Well, it was flight level 5,900 and some change. But then they want you to go down to 1,100 feet to do the sightseeing. That's a little bit weird. Radio communications, make all necessary announcements on the radio. Flight level 100. Fly with 250 knots speed limit when flying below flight level 100. Missed ATC transmission. Taxi speeding, respect the 20 knot speed limit. Runway excursion, stay on the runway, stay on the runway. Activate the landing lights during a night takeoff, activate the landing lights during a night landing. Always keep minimum 30 minutes of fuel in reserve. Avoid to fly around prohibited areas. Flying through clouds, avoid flying through smoke. Don't exceed the aircraft certified maximum speed. Don't exceed the maximum speed allowed with the flaps down. As the speed increases, avoid sharp turns and pulling or pushing the yoke too hard. No, it doesn't. I think these are all my problems that happened. That's weird because my landing and taxi lights were always on. Right, for this one? Landing lights? Oh no, wait, I didn't turn my landing lights on. It wasn't nighttime. Interesting. Do not exceed the maximum speed allowed. Speed increases. Okay, land on the designated runway. I did. Land on the runway with a low vertical speed. I can't say that. Don't stray from the mission objectives. Stay clear of the ground and any obstacles. That is a good idea. Okay. Well, that was a terrible mission. I think I got sabotaged on that one. Oh, lost some reputation. Oh, really? Reached level 2, though.
Nice work completing your first mission. Continue building your flight hours by completing more missions, and you'll be ready to move on to your CPL in no
Commercial pilot
time.
license. One unlocked. Passenger transport, rotorcraft. Rotorcraft, these are all rotorcraft. Okay. Ferry flight. Flying aircraft for maintenance. Or flying aircraft from maintenance, moving customers or delivering a new aircraft to its owner. On short VFR routes, you'll have to take care of the aircraft throughout the journey. Navigate the skies, ensuring the safety and integrity of your plane. Become a reliable and respected ferry pilot in the aviation world. Okay. So what is this mission? How do I start it? One passed, one unlocked. Specialization unlocked. What does that mean? Maybe this means unlocked? What is a specialization? I got a certification. This. One specialization unlocked. I don't see. Everything looks locked to me. Maybe it's just the CPL. Specialization 1 unlocked. It's baffling. Oh. thanks. Ida and yes. Yesenia, I suppose. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. It makes me feel better because I did not think I made all those mistakes. Okay, so I'm just gonna ignore the unlocked doodad and look at the missions that are available. So this is where I'm in the Pacific Northwest, by the way.
Here's all the first flight missions available right now. Take your pick which one you want to tackle next.
Oh, okay. Specialization is pretty much the job you can do with your current license. Okay. These are stroll over Rainier with Jennifer. It's my Apex Air Park. Oh, Bremerton. I've got a property in Bremerton, actually. We do IT work, and so one of our networks is in Bremerton. Laura with her mom above Port Orchard. What if there's one? Oh, that's a multiple. That's what that is. Oh, that's cool. Kamano. Port Townsend. Port Townsend. Port Townsend. What's this one? Seguin. Seguin. Mount Vernon. San Juan. This is all very cool. There's a whole bunch of these things. Wow. Like a whole bunch. Skyhawk. So that's got a Skyhawk. Let's see. I fly a Skyhawk there, 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 there. Are all of these Skyhawk? Oh, that's a virus. I think that's a electric aircraft. CTSL. That's a low wing aircraft. Skyhawk. Skyhawk. So you can fly different aircraft for different missions. I think the aircraft is picked for you, but it's not all Skyhawks, in other words. Okay, cool. But it's mostly Skyhawk. I mean, I don't mind. Skyhawk's a good plane. Alright, cool. Well, that's interesting. Let's see, this is all Skyhawk. Oh, there's the CTSL. Skyhawk. Okay, cool. Well, in that case, I am going to stick close to home when I get back today. I'm going to call it a night. We are going to do missions tomorrow. See how many of these we can knock out one day. I don't even know what to expect here. It's like a 1-star difficulty. Alrighty. Well, folks, thanks for riding along. And we'll see you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Central. Alrighty. Bye for now.